even saying that today? Like you can't, you keep on saying a broad church, but...
Does there need to be? I'm sorry to interrupt, but does there need to be, Matt? Because my point to many people, and I was able to appeal to conservatives and more progressive voters alike in my view, and that's why I won, I think, and why our campaign was effective, because we said to people, our approach is about common sense.
Moira Deeming, Renee Heath, I know before your time Renee Heath, Bernie Finn as well, but we've just spent the first 10 minutes talking about broad church and multiple views, and how do I reconcile that in my mind, that you could push Moira Deeming out, or your predecessor can claim he was going to push Renee Heath out, or Bernie Finn got pushed out? What about this broad church idea?
The broad church, I believe in. What happened with the suspension most recently that you're talking about was actually not about religious freedom, which I strongly support. I support it strongly. Yeah. And it is frustrating that I've seen some commentary on the issue talk about it as if it's an issue about women's right or freedom of faith and religion, which I strongly support both. The point I've made in the media was it was not about that.
Was it about the Nazi associations?
It was really about, are we a team that's focused on issues that people are going to vote on? And is it acceptable for anyone to be able to stand by with other organisers whose own comments, these were not comments of Moira's, absolutely not her comments, but I wanted some calling out of what others who had helped organise the rally
You say she didn't do that, or didn't do it enough?
Well, essentially, yes. That's why I brought the motion. So can I assure you and all of our viewers, what happened had nothing to do with freedom of faith or women's rights and protecting women's rights. It had nothing to do with that. It was actually about that other issue of distancing and calling out the use of Nazi reference by others, not so much by Moira. Moira didn't do that.
So do you expect her to be back after the suspension?
Well, it's a suspension, so it will expire of its own time.
So let's go beyond the Moira issue. What is the role of a political party? Because some people seem to want Moira to, maybe they're a minority, but they want you to take a stand on things. Because Daniel Andrews does. Like he flew the transgender flag outside wherever that was, Treasury Place. Mm-hmm. He's taking a stand. So is it the role of the Liberal Party to find their own ideological positions and take a stand on the Monash Council thing that happened the other day, or whether it's drag hour, story time, whatever the issue is? Or is it more this picture you're giving me now? Don't worry about that stuff. You're talking more retail politics.
No, those beliefs and those issues are important. I'm not suggesting for a moment they're not. But if you go back to my comments earlier about what the party is, one of its key tenets is freedom of opinion and freedom of expression, freedom of speech. So if you accept that, I see the party as the guardian of those freedoms. I disagree on Labor life. I don't see it that way at all. But I understand where you're coming from, right? My view on a lot of this is that there will be issues where we disagree politically, and we do. I mean, on the SEC, for example, what the government
versus Labor, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
There'll be things. There's no shortage of things we disagree on.
Of course.
But ultimately, what the people want is they do want their government, first of all, to be competent, and there is a difference in culture and outlook between the team I want to lead and what Daniel Andrews is leading. I do think we now have financial delinquency writ large in Victoria. And I say that because if you look at a range of government agencies deeply insolvent, many hundreds of millions of dollars, we have projects that are blowing out. We have ministers who sit around the cabinet table with blatant conflicts of interest.
Yeah, this is even the Age is taking this view now.
So the point I'm making to you is that on the trust piece and on just managing the resources and departments of state in a prudent manner is going to be different under us. I think one of the biggest challenges we face in Victoria is that we have now, if you like, a centralisation of all power around the Premier, around one man. And the problem with that is that it goes to checks and balances. We're getting bad outcomes now, a la Operation Daintree last week, where the government basically gave money to union mates without any proper processes. We basically have government by one man, and there's no checks and balances anymore. Whether it's a major project that just gets announced without any proper analysis,